All right, let's talk about one of the coolest, most high-level concepts in tennis. We're diving into how you can take an opponent's biggest weapon, their raw, blistering power, and actually turn it into your own secret weapon. Oh, you know that feeling, right? The ball is just a yellow blur, your opponent is crushing it, and you feel like you're constantly on your back foot, just trying to get your racket on the ball. It's like you're playing defense the entire time, just hoping to survive the point. But what if I told you there's a much, much smarter way to play?
See, our first instinct, our gut reaction is always to fight fire with fire. They hit hard, so we think, okay, I've got to swing even harder. But honestly, against a real power player, that's almost always a losing battle. The real secret, the thing that biomechanics and physics teach us, isn't about creating more force. It's about taking the force that's already coming at you and redirecting it with intelligence.
So let's really get to the heart of this. The problem isn't that you're not strong enough. Not at all. It's that most of us have a basic misunderstanding of what's actually happening, physics-wise, when a ball is coming at you at 100 miles an hour.
And here's why the swing harder strategy just falls apart. Think about it. Research shows, pretty conclusively, that as players get tired, their timing gets worse and their strokes break down. So when you take these huge, draining swings over and over, you're not just burning through your gas tank, you're literally increasing your chances of making an error later in the match. It's just not a winning formula.
So, if just muscling the ball isn't the solution, then what is? Well, the answer is physics. This is where we stop trying to fight the ball and start to, work with it.
Okay, simple definition, but so important. Every single time your opponent smacks that ball, they're sending you a package just full of kinetic energy. Now, your job isn't to create an even bigger, heavier package to send back. No way. Your job is to simply receive their package, put a new shipping label on it, and send it right back where they don't want it. That incoming pace isn't a threat, it's a resource.
And this lays out the choice you have on every shot, really. On the left, you've got the high-effort, high-cost way, a big, long, fast swing where you have to manufacture all the power yourself. But on the right, that's the efficient way. You use a shorter, more compact motion to basically borrow the energy that's already in the ball.
This right here, this is the whole idea in a nutshell. I love this quote. In the martial art of judo, you never meet force with force. You use your opponent's own momentum against them. And that is exactly what we're doing on the tennis court. You're not trying to stop a runaway train, you're just flipping a switch to send it down a different track.
Okay, so how do we actually do this? How do we make our body the perfect tool for this kind of energy transfer? Well, it all comes down to biomechanics, and it really helps to start thinking of your body as a giant coiled spring.
This is the kinetic chain. You've probably heard of it, but for redirecting pace, the goal isn't to make this chain violent. It's to make it smooth and efficient. It all starts from the ground up. You load with your legs, that energy coils up through your hips and torso as they rotate, and then that rotation effortlessly pulls the shoulder and arm through, delivering all that guided momentum right into the ball at contact. It's one fluid motion.
Now let's get into the nitty-gritty. What's so cool here is how each of these techniques helps that energy flow. A compact backswing is a must, because you just don't have time for a big one. An open stance helps you rotate your hips faster to guide the ball. A relaxed grip. Now this sounds wrong, but it's crucial. It helps your racket absorb that pace instead of fighting it. And finally, taking the ball early, on the rise, means you're using its energy at its absolute peak while also giving your opponent less time to recover. All right, so you've got the right movements down, but here's where the magic really happens. It's not just what parts of your body you move, it's the precise timing of when you move them. This is the secret that separates the good players from the truly elite ones. This is where the science gets really fascinating. Kinematic studies show that elite players fire this kinetic chain in a perfect sequence. It's like cracking a whip. The hips fire first, then the torso follows, and then the arm comes through last. Amateurs, on the other hand, we tend to fire everything at once, or even in the wrong order. And when that happens, the chain breaks, you lose all that free energy, and you end up just muscling the ball with your arm.
And get this, the difference between the pro's perfect sequence and the club player's sequence can be as tiny as 50 milliseconds. I mean, that's less than the blink of an eye. But nailing that tiny window is the difference between effortlessly redirecting a clean winner and framing the ball into the fence. It's that precise.
So, look, knowing the physics and the biomechanics is one thing, but it all goes out the window if your mind freaks out. The second you panic, that perfect 50 millisecond timing we just talked about, it's gone. When that ball is flying at you, the final piece of this whole puzzle is the mental game. It's all about staying calm.
And here's how you stay calm. It's not about just telling yourself to relax. True calm comes from anticipation. Expert players literally buy themselves more time, not because their feet are faster, but because their brains are faster. They are reading the play before it even develops.
You know, studies that track the eyes of pro players show they aren't just staring at the ball. They're constantly scanning, collecting data. They're looking at the opponent's shoulder turn, the height of their toss on a serve, the angle of their racket face. All these little clues tell them where the ball is probably going, long before you or I would know. And that gives them a huge head start.
And that right there brings everything full circle. When your brain is calm and focused on picking up those early cues, it prevents that fight-or-flight panic response. That mental control is what gives your body the chance to execute that beautiful, fluid, perfectly timed kinetic chain we talked about. It lets you turn what should be a defensive shot into an attack.
Okay, let's land the plane here. We're going to take all this theory, all this science, and turn it into a simple, practical game plan that you can actually use the next time you're on the court.
Just look at this breakdown. It's all about swapping out that old, costly habit for a new, efficient skill. So, when you're returning a massive serve, instead of taking that huge, desperate swing, think short, compact block. Use their pace. In the middle of a fast rally, instead of backing up to give yourself more time, try to hold your ground and use that shorter swing. And if your opponent is at the net, instead of panicking and just trying to blast it through them, use their forward momentum to angle the ball right past them. It's a complete shift in your approach.
If you take only one thing away from this today, let it be this. Your goal is to stop thinking of yourself as a power generator. Instead, start seeing yourself as a power conductor. You're a sophisticated instrument designed to guide and redirect energy with skill and precision.
So, I'll just leave you with this final thought. We spend so much time as tennis players obsessed with hitting the ball harder. But maybe, just maybe, we've been focused on the wrong thing all along. What if the real key to mastering this game isn't about how much force you can create, but about how beautifully you can control the force that's already there?